The Star Wars games that came out before a certain company bought the rights to them were some of my favorites growing up, with LEGO Star Wars and Star Wars Battlefront 2 being my favorites. Some of my favorite childhood memories were of me and my brother playing through LEGO Star Wars together and playing Team Deathmatch in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Because everyone's always trying to relive parts of their seemingly perfect childhood,
reality hits you hard, bro.
I decided to play another game in the Star Wars franchise from the era of my childhood. Star Wars Republic Commando has been the game I've always wanted to play but never got the chance to since the game was exclusive to Xbox and I had a PS2 growing up. Well, today I find out if this game is as nostalgic as Star Wars Battlefront 2 or will it be sent to the burn pile along with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Get that game out of the way!
Unlike most games where your AI teammates are incredibly useless, I really enjoyed my squad mates Fixer, Sev, and Scorch since they feel genuinely helpful in combat. In Republic Commando, you can tell your squad mates what to do individually if there's a specific task that they specialize in.
Let's rearrange some architecture, Delta.
As well as commanding the whole squad collectively with just the press of a button.
Let's form up.
Forming up, sir.
The commands were most useful when I went down. If you take enough damage, you go down but you don't die. Instead, you get a choice of whether or not you want your squad to maintain their current orders to try and kill everyone in the room, or to revive you and risk them dying while doing so in order to put you back in the fight. Even if you find issuing commands to be overwhelming, your squad's AI is really smart and I never found them to be doing anything overtly stupid. Well, except this one time when one of my squad mates got stuck on the environment so he couldn't move.
Oh, they got me!
The squad commands just give you a bit of fine-tuning, which could be most useful at the higher difficulties. I've never played a game that merges a first-person shooter with an RTS, but Star Wars Republic Commando blends these two genres brilliantly. Another aspect that helps with the RTS side of things apart from just commanding your squad is the built-in HUD in your helmet. It shows you what your squad mates are doing and how much health they have left so you know whether or not to tell them to go heal themselves.
Stop looping around and get some vector, soldier.
Yes, sir.
The HUD also displays your shields and health, and both of these systems work identically to the Halo series, where your shields recharge but your health doesn't. I also enjoyed the nice touch of the wipe effect every time your visor got dirty after getting debris or blood on it.
Myself, sir.
Delta Squad really feels like they know each other and have gone through a lot of combat together. One of the reasons for this is the dialogue between you and your squad mates really creates an illusion of commanding an elite squad of soldiers to life. Delta Squad will communicate similarly to how soldiers talk in war movies I've seen, being serious and task-focused 1 minute and then joking around the next, even during combat. It helps lighten the mood a bit since this is a Star Wars game after all.
How many kills you got today, Psycho?
More than you, wise guy.
Keep this comm clear, you two. Calm down, Fixer. Just having a little fun.
All the sounds match up to what you'd expect to hear from the Star Wars universe, from the voices to the gunfire. Even the songs from the Star Wars movies are here, which was really fun to listen to while going through combat.
Delta Squad, let's take it down from here.
As far as combat goes, I enjoyed how each enemy type had a different special enemy that had a unique attack as well as lots of health. It kept combat from getting repetitive since you have to deal with different enemies accordingly. The Geonosian species are really agile and fly around, making them hard to hit, and their special variant can fly around and shoot a laser at you that kills you super fast. The droids, on the other hand, are more grounded and come in waves that feel more organized than the Geonosians. One of the droid's special variants is the B2 battle droid, which is really tanky and can shoot missiles at you.
Eliminate target.
There are also mini-boss type enemies like walkers and Magna Guards that you only see occasionally but are always exciting to encounter because of how you fight them. The weapons all feel unique and varied, with weapons that range from clone assault rifles to Wookiee crossbows. The weapons don't have much recoil, which makes them feel really arcadey, but I think it suits this game's style because of how many systems you're already managing. Each weapon excels in different areas, so you're often switching out weapons depending on the enemy types and where you're located. There are also mounted weapons that you can find placed around levels, like a turret gun for example. The game has excellent pacing, and each mission fits perfectly into the next. Because of this, I played the majority of the game in one sitting, and if it weren't for the loading screens, I wouldn't have even known there was a break in the level. A lot of the good pacing has to do with the progression of enemy types. At the beginning of the game, every unique environment only has you fight one type of enemy, but by the end of the game, you're fighting all of the enemy types at the same time. As you progress through the game, you'll go through different environments, with my favorite being a dark abandoned ship that gave off horror vibes. I really loved Kashyyyk too when I was able to fight alongside Wookiees who could just obliterate droids with their massive size.
Oh, fuck!
Most of the missions have you fight through with your squad, but some of them have you go through by yourself because you and your squad either have to split up or get separated. I ended up feeling really vulnerable, and even dealing with a small group of enemies became a big challenge. You grow to rely on your squad mates because they're so useful. There's a nice feeling of trust when commanding them, knowing that they'll do their job effectively. I've given this game a lot of praise, but that's not to say it doesn't have missed opportunities. One idea they could have implemented would be allowing players to switch between all 4 members of Delta Squad. Each member can execute certain tasks because of the different roles they specialize in, but that didn't really translate into the gameplay. The only thing that differentiates each squad member is where you're allowed to assign them because of their role. The game would have been a lot stronger if it emphasized each squad member's specialties more. Each member of the squad could have their own special ability or specialize in different weapons, for example. That's the main missed opportunity I would have liked to see changed. That might have been pretty complex gameplay-wise, but it would have allowed players to develop their own strategies a bit more. My last critique is that the ending came out of nowhere and ended with a cliffhanger that came at the worst time because one of your squad mates went missing right as the climactic battle was about to happen, and then the credits rolled. Aww. It would have been great if there was a sequel, since I definitely wanted to see what happens next, but there isn't one, so instead the game's story felt really unsatisfying. The reason for this huge cliffhanger is that the game did have a planned sequel that was supposed to come out shortly after the first game, but it ended up getting scrapped pretty early on into development. Even though the story ended on a bad note, the gameplay carried it through for a strong finish. Star Wars Republic Commando is at its best when you're issuing commands in the heat of combat while switching between weapons depending on the scenario, prioritizing which enemy to kill first, and being aware of what squad mate needs what. It has a really good flow that makes you think at a more complex level than most first-person shooters. Most games want you to feel powerful, like you're some kind of action hero, but Republic Commando just makes you feel like one member of Delta Squad. I liked being dependent on my squad mates, where I felt like each of us had a role to fill. Star Wars Republic Commando takes place alongside my childhood favorites like LEGO Star Wars and Star Wars Battlefront 2. The campaign was grittier than most Star Wars games I've seen, being more in line with the Clone Wars show, which I also love. It definitely lived up to the hype for what I had in my little kid brain. The Star Wars theming was so on point, and the merge between a first-person shooter along with managing your squad was experimental in a very fun way, and the game never got boring because of the ever-growing number of enemies, weapon types, and environments. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this in the future. And let me know what your favorite Star Wars game is down in the comments.